So I want to welcome everybody and thank you for being here. Even though this is the 42nd annual meeting of the Sailing Club, it's only the fourth or fifth virtual meeting, but I'm glad you're all here. And before we get started, I want to thank Christine for pulling this whole meeting together. It was not a small feat, and she did a fabulous job. So thank you, Christine. Also, Bob, thank you for stepping up and handling all the technology for us at this meeting. As you know, it's a repeat of Saturday, except for obviously the lunch and some other little things like the group picture we didn't have. Anyway, this is my last official duty as the Commodore, and I will be handing the reins over to Jan. Jan, raise your hand in case anybody doesn't know who you are.
Or speak to make them show up in other people's.
Yeah, okay. All right, well, he'll speak later
Here I
anyway.
am.
Okay, so I am happy to say that we accomplished a few things in the last couple of years. The board approved a long-range planning committee, which reviewed the status and policies of the club in 24 and 25 and going forward, and made recommendations to the board. The long-range planning committee was made up of Craig Gill, Joel Mack, Mary Ann Gordon, and me. We met over the course of a few months, and after careful consideration, recommended to the board that the website be upgraded. The committee also recommended some changes in how skippers are selected for trips and how trips are planned. And the board also approved those recommendations. These changes are of a housekeeping nature, so they're not going to be apparent to the general membership. Asking the board for a new website is no small task, but people stepped forward to take up this monumental task. The project was led by Mia and Joel, who is here tonight, and they were assisted by Jan Cornelius and Steve Krakauer, who is not here tonight, sorry. And I want to say thank you to all of you. Later in the meeting, Mia will unveil the website for you. Before we get to the trips, we have some club business to address. And the first item on the agenda is the financial update, which will be presented by Mary Ann Gordon. Mary Ann, you're on.
Okay, I'm on. I took over as treasurer from Steve Krakauer April 1st, 2024. And when I took over, our checking account balance was $53,637.25. As of 3/28, 2 days ago, no, 3 days ago, our cash balance is down, but not significantly. It's down to 35,664 and 71 cents. That difference is almost 18,000, 17,972.54. But I was asked about this on Saturday, and it averages around $20,000 is what it costs us at charter fees for the 4 or 5 trips we do every year. And so that's perfectly normal. What I appreciate, and it's thanks to the treasurers 10, 15 years ago, is they started building a buffer in there to carry us over until, like right now, I have paid 50% deposits on the upcoming 2025 trips, but have not received any trip payments. So that buffer keeps us going.
Mary Ann,
Yeah,
to clarify, last year's balance did not reflect the deposits for the 2024 trips. This year's balance, you've paid all those deposits. That's
I
why we
paid.
have a. That's why we
Well,
have like
there has to
20.
be. No,
I
I thought.
know they are, but
Yeah.
just to be clear, that's why there's such a big difference between the two balances.
Yeah, that's right.
Because we have not received the income, we
Right.
have spent the money.
Right.
Okay.
But that happens every year. Every
Well, it didn't
year.
happen last year, right?
No,
Yes,
it
it did.
Now,
Yeah.
if anyone has questions about how it works,
Yeah.
I think we have folks who would be happy to talk about it.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
It's just a timing difference, that's all.
It's a timing
That's
difference.
what it is.
Okay, all righty,
But we usually average around 50,000.
okay,
As our steady amount there.
okay.
Okay, as of April 1st, 2024 to March 28th, 2025, basically the last year, we had total income. I added up what came in and what went out and total expense. Total income was 63,471.10. Total expense was 80,881.28. We always spend more than we take in, but again, we have that buffer that sustains us. The difference represents 5 fully funded trips in the sailing year 24-25 that we did last year, as well as 50% deposits made on all sailing trips for the current sailing season coming up, and additional operating expenses. We purchase directors and officers insurance every year for the board. We have event insurance for things like CPR, end of season, the other day, the luncheon on Saturday. On water training is annually discounted to encourage people to come more to attend. And room rental fees, because we own no property, we always have to, when we do an in-person event, have to rent a space to do that. And then minor fees are bank and postage fees. The club financed and club members ran a successful 2024 sailing season with on-water training, summer solstice in June of 2024, August on the Chesapeake, the Southern Chesapeake in September of 2024, and the BVI Islands in February of 2025. And as someone said earlier, any questions, just shoot me an email and I'll be glad to respond.
Thank you.
Thank you, Marianne. Anything else from the inside? We're good. Okay, thanks much. The next item on the agenda is the election. Before we get to that, though, I want to acknowledge the 24-25 board. If you're able to raise your hand or put up the little thingamajig and let everybody know who you are. The board consisted of Craig Gill, the Vice Commodore, Joel Mack, Membership Secretary, Marianne Gordon, Treasurer, Gary Brubaker, Charter Liaison, Mia McCroskey, Past Commodore. Our members at large were Steve Krakauer, Bob Rainey, John Francischetti, Walter Ronca, Christine Kaufman, and Jan Cornelius. Thank you all for all you do for the club. I just want to point out a few thankless jobs that are done by our board members. Steve Krakauer handles the club's insurance as well as providing a wealth of historical knowledge to the board. Bob Rainey sees that the club trips run safely, keeps members up to date on CPR and first aid. Gary Brubaker, in addition to his job as charter liaison, handles the club's training for first mates and skippers. And then Christine Kaufman, of course, stepped up to the social chair position and is doing a superb job. The club couldn't run without people working behind the scenes to make this happen. And these are just a few of the hours that our board members are putting in to make the club run smoothly, besides the board meetings every month and their official duties. So thank you for all you do. Okay, now on to the election results. The results of the 2025 election are for 2-year terms: Commodore Jan Cornelius, Vice Commodore Craig Gill, Membership Secretary Joel Mack. And for the 1-year positions for members at large, we have Steve Krakauer, Bob Rainey, Mia McCroskey, John Francischetti, Christine Kaufman, and our new board member, Mary Wojcik. So Mary, welcome. Members continuing in their positions until next year: the treasurer, Marianne Gordon, and charter liaison, Gary Brubaker. The non-elected position is the past Commodore, which I will become for the next 2 years. So welcome to the new board and thank you. So now on to our 2025 events. And as you know, the major event for 2025 is the website, and Mia is going to introduce us to it. So Mia, you ready?
Yeah.
Good.
Oh, I have to get Bob to stop sharing.
I will.
Thank you. There we go. I wanted to share this. Last about a year ago, Joel and I began work on this. Joel did a lot of the technical research to pick our platform. Are you able to see the site at this point?
Yes.
Yes.
Perfect. Joel did a lot of research, technical research to pick the right platform to host our new website. I did a lot of the work on look and feel and how we wanted to present the sailing club in the modern era. If you've spent much time with the old website, you might know that it was a bit dated. We obviously wanted to keep our logo and our love of sailing, but we wanted a lot more pictures and more modern approach to website layout, which is what you see here. So if you go to www.thesailingclub.org, this is what you're going to find today. I'm not going to spend too much time, but I'll hit a few things. The announcements menu gives you a list of things that are really imminent. So reservations are open. There's a new flotilla. It's actually a little dated now. This will go away as soon as we're done with this meeting because we're now done. There's a little bit about this new website itself, and you can always go to events to see our upcoming events. And you'll see a list here of our upcoming trips. Ooh, I'm showing them to you before you're officially seeing them. And you'll also see the calendar, which is driven by that. So if you go to the calendar, you can see the actual dates of things happening and a listing below, but more to the point, if you scroll through, you will see when the trips are by the photos that are on their dates. So that's the announcements, events, and calendar, which if you visited this site in the last few weeks, they were all locked down and you couldn't see them. Now you can. They are open. We had them locked down because we were populating them with all the new stuff, and we didn't want that to leak out before these meetings. So if you go to this year's trips, you can see the information about the trips, Eleanor's Commodore letter, and then the trips that you're going to hear about shortly. If you're new to the club, you might want to visit Experience a Trip. If you haven't been on any of our trips, this section talks about what it's like to sail with us, because a lot of new people have no idea what to expect. So that's a page for that. It's kind of a new thing that our old site didn't really provide. Members, the thing you might care about if you're a member is not so much this top part, but you can send your friends to get the membership form, but rather here's where the Board of Trustees is listed in case you need to know who's on the board. Training is a summary of our training options. I won't go deep into that. I won't go deep into too much, but I want to point out that you can find the trip reports from previous trips here. And if they're older than a couple of years ago, then they are presented as PDFs, and you can hit this link and go find the PDF for the older trip you want to find. A fun new thing, although we had videos on the old site, this video log has a pretty big collection of recordings of these meetings, the annual meetings, also the videos from our end of season parties. If you've been to one, you've seen those videos, but you can come back and revisit them. And also, we had a 30th anniversary 10 years ago. So there's several videos from that. There's a video of our France trip, Newport, some Hawaii videos, and there's the virtual annual meetings, and I'll get to it eventually. We have several, back during the pandemic, we did several training sessions that we recorded, and they are here as well. So I urge you to check out the videos. If you're a longtime member, you'll really enjoy the older videos. There's a whole collection of the flotilla report. We have all that we could find. If you are interested in running a trip, there's a page explaining how you can do that. What questions are key to answer to propose a trip? And if you're a total nerd like me, you like process diagrams, so you can see those too, but I'll get past them. There's a history page, which is kind of fun. Most of it is from the old site, but now it's a little more visible. We have FAQs that our board members contributed. What are the questions you get asked? And here are the answers. I want to finally especially highlight this section because I suspect a lot of how the club works might be a mystery to people who haven't been on the board, and even to some of us who are on the board. So this section is all the procedures, our bylaws, obviously, but also just how we run trips, what our safety requirements and policies are. It's all here in our anchors. So if you're, a little more interested in how we do things, you can find it there. It's not a secret. And resources, which is also linked there. If you're looking for a form that we must have, it's probably here. Here are the reservations form for this year's trips. There's the membership form. Anything you might think you really want to find is probably here. So I urge you, visit our new website. We try to keep it fun and light. We try to keep the fun stuff at the top, and then you got to go kind of deep down into this stuff down here to find the nitty gritty. But it is there, and we wanted to make it visible to our members and to the public of how we run our sailing club. So that's the philosophy we've applied. That's all I can say. All right.
Oh, I have one thing to add, and it works on your phone or tablet.
Yes.
Yes, I was gonna add that. This is cell phone friendly.
That is absolutely correct. And I just realized, kind of like Bob was saying earlier, I don't have my Zoom. Oh, there it is down there. I found it to stop sharing. There you go. So thanks, everyone.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you, Mia. That website is gorgeous. Thank you so much. Okay, we are doing door prizes. We're doing them a little bit differently than we did last year. I am going to take this list. Hold on a sec.
Hello?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm just trying to make this work.
What are you trying to make work, Eleanor?
Okay, I put the
This is a door
numbers and the
prize.
names into the chat, so everybody should be
Yeah.
able to see them. So Christine is going to pull the numbers and she can show it to us, read it, whatever. And this list is in number order of the numbers that Christine is pulling from. So when she pulls it, we'll look at the list and see who the winner is. Ready? Oh,
Yeah.
one other thing.
Oh,
Because we had a bunch of signups at the last minute, I realized we needed extra numbers and we didn't know how many at that point. So we're going to have some numbers that are not assigned. So if that happens, we'll just go past it and Christine will pull again. Okay? Ready?
yeah, here we go. How about 578-116?
Tell us the name.
116?
116.
Lisa!
That looks like Lisa. Yay.
Congratulations, Lisa.
Congratulations.
You win a new car.
Yeah.
Wait, I didn't get the ticket for
Minus the
that.
tariff. Oh, sorry.
So what did I win?
A gift certificate. Oh, good. I'm sorry, I should have
How
told
much?
you that.
How much?
$50 gift certificate for a trip.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So now turning to training and trips, Gary will update us on the land training and on water training.
Bob,
You're
you
on.
there?
Gary?
There we go. Before I get to on land training and on water training. Just a quick reminder too, if you can, next page, Bob, if you can, I just want to make a reminder to all the skippers and first mates that you must be certified in CPR and first aid. Our class was scheduled and held on March 15th. I know there were a few of us that couldn't make it. I did what the American Heart Association calls a blended class. I did my virtual lecture online and then followed by a hands-on skills session at the local hospital down here in Manahawkin. So just a quick reminder that we do need to be certified, and I'll be following up on that. Okay, we can go into the next one. On land training, we do have on land training scheduled for May 10th of this year. It will be, and if you could go to the next slide, Bob, it will be at the Hills again. Registration is required. Just drop me an email or a text or whatever, and I'll add your name to the list. And even though registration is required, there's no charge to attend the session. Bob, if you can go on. And the topics will be pretty much the same. The one thing that I'm going to try to add this year is a short session on NOAA's custom chart application, where you can develop and print your own charts for specific areas. Bob, if you can go on, we have we have on water training scheduled for May 17th and 18th. We will be able to get on the board on the 16th. So a week later, we'll start on water training. The next slide, Bob. We have 2 boats. Both of them are Beneteau 38-foot Hanu and Cicerto. I know some of you have probably been on Hanu. They're both identical boats. You can go on, Bob. Saturday will be pretty much the same as we've done in the past. We'll review boat systems, a lot of communication, stuff we can do on land, and then we'll get some under power exercises. We'll go out and drive the boats backwards and figure eights and all that kind of stuff. And if we can, we'll get some sailing in as well. Have lunch on the water and dinner ashore. If you can go to the next slide, Bob. On Sunday's more, we get more sailing in, try to get on each one of the points of sail, practice tack and jibing, et cetera, et cetera. Hopefully heave to and have lunch on the water, and then get back to the marina by 4 o'clock so that we can depart. The next one, Bob. The cost this year is $425, payable in full with your reservation form. I'll be receiving those reservation forms, and Bob and I will be the instructors for the weekend. Next slide, Bob.
That's it.
Good.
Okay, thank you, Gary. We're going to skip the door prize, and then we'll go on to the next presentation, which will be mine, and then we'll have the door prize after that. Okay, Bob, ready?
No, I gotta close the old file and open a new one.
Maybe we
No.
should have a door prize to give you time. Let's do a door prize.
I could tell a joke, a nautical
Go ahead,
joke.
Christine, door prize.
Hey, here we go.
Everybody can see their chats?
Let's see. 578 106 106.
That's one of the ones we don't have.
Oh,
Okay.
redraw.
Oh,
Let's see. Another
Yeah.
lucky one. 578 119.
oh, so close.
Oh, don't have that one either. Try again.
Okay. 102.
That's you, Eleanor.
Honor.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Okay.
Okay,
You're the
lucky me.
winner.
Thank you. Okay, so with that, let's move on to
Your
summer solstice on the Chesapeake. We will board on the 18th, or that's early board, June 18th, which is a Wednesday. The trip will run from June 19th to Sunday, June 22nd. Bob? All right, our sail plan. We are going to go from Rock Hall down to the Road River. We're going to raft up there and have our traditional appetizer party. We will have a contest, and the best summer appetizer will win a useless prize. I think last year's trip was not a useless prize, but this year's is guaranteed to be useless. And have a great time. Those raft up parties
Wine.
are
Wine
always
is never
fun.
useless. So,
Pardon me?
it was wine last year.
Oh, that's never useless. Yeah, that's what I meant. Yours, but this year will be useless. Okay. So we'll just have a really nice evening. You can swim, do whatever you want. Enjoy, relax. Friday, we will sail down to Harrington Harbor. And if anybody's ever been there, you know why I picked it. They have an Olympic-sized swimming pool, a beach, lounge chairs, picnic areas. Each boat will decide if they want to have a barbecue that night. This will be Friday night, or if they want to go out to dinner. I suspect people will lean toward a barbecue, but I don't know. That will be decided on a boat by boat basis. So enjoying that, then we will leave on Saturday morning and sail back up here to Gibson Island, which is a lovely, lovely, quiet anchorage. And that's where we will spend the solstice celebration. And we will try to have a potluck dinner. So we're going to have dinner on board. Let's share across the boats. And we do have to recognize, though, that due to weather, there's always a possibility we can't have a raft up. So every boat should plan to be independent, but hopefully we'll just be able to raft up and share, have one big potluck for the whole boat, or for the whole trip. And that will be Saturday. And then on Sunday, we will sail back across the Chesapeake back to Rock Hall. Okay. Go to the next slide, please. The boats are two Catalina 425s, the Kathy C and the Tranquility. Both boats are the same. That's why you only see one picture here. Next, our skippers are Bob Rainey and Mia McCroskey. Next. And the cost of the trip is $850. This includes the slip fees at Harrington Harbor. And it's prices are getting up there. However, this is the cost of the club for the trip. So the deposit is $100. The trip's reservations will begin processing on April 14th, and the balance of the $750 will be due on May 18th. So if you would like to go, you know what to do. Send me your reservation, and hopefully we'll see you in June. So thank you. Okay, now, next, Marianne will present the Lake Huron trip. Marianne?
I'm here, but I need, Bob's gonna bring up the slide
Yeah, you
presentation.
gotta close and open.
Yeah, I know.
Oh,
I'll
It's
sing a
very
little
different
song.
when you're
Oh
doing.
my God.
Yeah,
you want another door prize now? We have 4, so I don't want to run out.
I'm just about there.
Okay.
well, Lake Huron has been a long time in the planning because Bob and I went and checked out this Canadian yacht charters back in 2023. And really were very impressed with the area and the charter company. Thank you. The Lake Huron trip is a midweek trip. It starts August 20th through the 26th with an early board on the 19th of August. Next slide. Canadian Yacht Charters, that's their building with the red roof, is in Gore Bay on Manitoulin Island in Ontario. It's the largest, I've learned, freshwater island in the world. It's huge, and Bob reminded me that when you get to Gore Bay, there are places to stay. There's grocery stores if you wanted to come early. All of that is there, but just arriving at Manitoulin Island, you might have to drive another 45 minutes, an hour just to get to Gore Bay. Next slide. It's a midweek trip. It starts on a Wednesday, August 20th, returning on Tuesday, August 26th. Manitoulin is, I said that, it has a rich history in Native American lore because, of course, that's all that was there for many hundreds of years until the French sent Jesuit priests and then quickly followed by lumbering operations. The north shore of Lake Huron is predominantly Canadian parkland, and so we can expect to see wildlife. We can board our boats at or after 6 p.m. August 19th. I thought that was rather late, so unless you have dinner right before you get there, I'm offering grilled cheese and soup as a supper, as incentive to arrive and know that you will be fed. Any other provisioning required will be done Wednesday morning because we're not going to get checked out till 10 a.m. when that starts. So next slide. Winds in August average 15 to 20 knots, good winds. The temperatures average 65 to 70 during the day, with nights dropping to 58 or 55. There are few, if any, black flies by mid-August. Black flies are a big problem, but come mid-August, especially that far north, not a problem. The main and biggest town around is Little Current, and we are planning a group dinner there at the Anchor Inn. It is the place to be. Next slide. Getting there. Canada requires, of course, and has for several years, a valid passport. Your trip leaders recommend driving. It's once you get out of the New York metropolitan area, there's no traffic. However, if you prefer to fly, there are flights from the New York City area to Sudbury, Ontario, where you can rent a car for the 2+ hour drive to Manitoulin Island. Or you could even book a private plane that'll take you directly to Manitoulin Small Airport. Also, if driving, consider the MS Chichimon ferry from mainland Ontario, the Bruce Peninsula, directly to Manitoulin Island. That cuts off about 2.5 hours of highway driving.
Marianne, can I just ask, how long is the drive about?
12 to 13 hours from
Thanks.
New Jersey, from like Bridgewater, my area.
Can I ask a question too? If someone were to rent a car, they either have to keep it for 7 days or can they re-rent another car at where the boats are?
From experience, renting a car and crossing a border is very, very tricky. You either rent the car in one country and stay in one country, or you rent the car in the other country. and
No,
stay-
if they flew to Sudbury, they could rent a car. But
Right.
to
Yeah.
my knowledge, I could be wrong. You'd have to research it. Like I said, we're driving. I don't think you could turn the car in Tulin.
Yeah. No,
So if someone rented
Manitoulin Island is very remote.
Mm-hmm.
I don't, there's probably 2 gas stations on the whole island. I don't think there's even a rental car place.
No, that's what I said. I don't think.
So if somebody rents the car, they should plan on having it for
They're-
7
you're
days.
gonna
they
leave
got
it
it for the
parked
week.
for a week.
Okay.
So the boats we have are Hunter 38. That first word, sealed, is pronounced Kaylee. It's Celtic and it means a party or gathering. The Anna Hunter 426, it's Cecilia, like our spelling, but that's the Italian spelling. And the sail plan, we plan to sail northeast. Those are the prevailing winds towards Bay Fin. It's spelled Fine, but it's pronounced Fin, and the pond. The pond is that long, narrow, well, it's the end of that long, narrow strip there. Yeah, Bob's pointing to it. But and it's, if you Google that, Ontario, the pond, you'll find lots of photos. But
Just to clarify, does that say alcohol?
where?
Yeah, it looks like it.
Anchor.
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 Okay.
Oh, good catch, Mia.
And I didn't even see that.
Okay, sorry, carry on.
But in the westerly, leaving Gore Bay, we would sail northeast towards Bay Fin and Fraser Bay. But if winds are more from,
Sorry about that.
yeah, the south or the west, we can go to the west towards the Benjamin Islands, and it's more of the same, just pristine, beautiful woods.
Wonderful.
And yeah, next slide. The price of this trip is $975. That's US dollars. We are getting the benefit of the exchange rate, which is good right now, between Canada and US. And we got the prices before all the political stuff started between the US and Canada. Skippers and the trip leader is $488. The price includes charter fees and pre-board fee. That 19th arrival, we get to sleep on board. Provisioning, fuel, pump out, any slip or mooring fees, and all other incidentals are additional and will be handled by each boat's crew. A deposit of $100 along with the reservation and release form are required. Reservations will be processed beginning April 14th. The balance due is going to be broke up into two payments of $437.50. The first one due June 10th, the second one due July 6th. You'll have a memory jog to think about it for 4th of July. The club standard 30-day cancellation policy applies. Consider getting away from the heat and the crowds of the New Jersey summer and joining us on Lake Huron. That's my trip presentation.
Looks great.
Thank you, Marion.
Thank you.
Okay, while Bob gets ready for the Chester River trip, let's have another drawing. Ready, Christine?
Let's see. How about 578135?
Walter.
Oh, Walter.
Over.
Walter.
Yay, Walter.
Yay. It's a $50 gift certificate for a trip.
Okay. Tell us when you're ready, Bob.
Thank you.
Okay, so I proposed the Chester River trip for mid-September. Its only intent is to have like 3 days of hopefully good sailing. I kept my boat in Langford Creek for a few years, but I haven't sailed up that way for quite some time. So I thought it might be a good trip to get some good sailing on the Chester. So if you can go to the next slide, the first day we'll well, I should say that we're going to start. We have an early board on Friday, September 12th. We're using Haven charters for our boats, and we'll meet then in Rockall. Next slide. The first day we'll sail out of Swan Creek down around and then back up to Langford Creek, where we'll raft up. Sunday, out of Langford Creek, back down to Castle Marina. We've been to Castle Marina quite a few times, and it has a nice picnic pavilion. There's a couple of restaurants right outside their gates, large clean bathhouses. It's a pretty nice marina. Again, it's a fairly short trip. I think this is maybe 12 nautical miles. So we've got plenty of time to sail around on the Chester, or maybe go to one of the other anchorages and anchor for lunch and things like that. So you can go to the next page. The next page will depart Castle Harbor the next day, sail north to Haven Harbor. Again, it's a fairly short sail, only 11 nautical miles. So we should have plenty of time to go out into the Chesapeake and sail, just so we're back to Haven Harbor by 4 p.m. so that we can depart the boat. Next slide. We get 2 boats.
I love the names.
One Miss Congeniality, 40-foot Beneteau, and Kathy C, a 42-foot Catalina. Next slide, please. The cost of this trip is $765. The $100 deposit, the remaining due August 1st, and our standard 30-day cancellation policy applies for this trip. Next slide. And we'll give Bob a couple minutes. That's it.
Okay.
Questions?
While you get
Yes.
ready for the next trip, let's do another door prize. Okay.
Wait, is this the last one?
This is the last one, yeah.
Last one. Set 578105.
David Boyle. Is he here?
Are you here, David? I thought I saw him here before. David, speak up if you're here, otherwise we're gonna go to the next one.
I
Don't
don't
see
see
him.
Last chance. You wanna pull another? We're sure he's not here. Nobody sees him.
I don't see him.
Okay, try again, Christine.
Okay. See. 578115.
Mia.
Yeah,
That is me, right?
congratulations.
Cool.
Yeah. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay, so that's all of our door prizes. Now we get to hear about Gary's Key West trip.
So this trip's mine as well. Only it is a few months later. It's starting in mid-January. Planning to go from Key West north to Marathon, or east to Marathon. I really wanted to go from Miami down to Marathon, but I was having a hard time finding boats. And when I finally found the boats that we could charter, they were out of Fort Lauderdale, which is quite a ways north of. So it kind of lengthened the trip and made the float plan a bit of a challenge. So I was able to find a couple boats in Key West that we can charter. So we're going to start in Key West and then go back up the chain of keys to Marathon, with a number of stops for snorkeling on the reef and I'm trying to remember what it's called now. It slips my mind.
Hooks Channel.
Well, that's the channel. I'm trying to remember what they call the state park there.
Bahia Honda State Park.
Blue Key.
I was
Louis
thinking about
Key.
that whole area is a national park, but I don't remember it for now. But anyway, so we've chartered 2 catamarans from Sail Away Key West. Yeah, I know they're catamarans, not monohulls, so they won't sail as good as a monohull. But unfortunately, that's all I could find in the Key West. So, but we have 2 of them. One of them is a 46-foot Southern Cross, and then the other is a 42-foot Sugar Magnolia. Both of them are 4-cabin, 4-head boats, so each cabin has its own head. Next slide, please.
Nice.
So we'll meet Saturday, January 17th at the Perry Hotel and Marina. We'll check out the boats, provision, dinner ashore, and sleep aboard that night. Next slide. The Perry Hotel appears to be a pretty nice hotel. I don't think this is the hotel where the marina was the last time we went out. But it seemed like it was pretty close to the same place we went out.
One of our boats was at this marina. Was at this.
Oh,
hotel.
was it? Okay. So it's got a nice pool and some amenities and things like that. So then on Sunday, we'll sail from Perry Marina up to Newfound Harbor with a stop at Louis Key for snorkeling, and then proceed to the anchorage and have dinner on board. Next slide, please. From Newfound Harbor, we'll leave from Newfound Harbor, make a stop at Sombrero Key again for some snorkeling, and then sail up to Skipjack Resort and Marina in Marathon. That resort has a poolside tiki bar, which appealed to me, blue bistro, casual restaurant, and some other resort amenities. It, again, looks like a pretty nice resort.
And sun.
Next slide, please.
Yes.
I'm sorry, what was that?
And
I said in sun.
in January. Sun.
Oh, okay. And hopefully some warm weather. Tuesday, we'll depart Skipjack on our way to the Hawks Key Resort up on Duck Key, which is north of Marathon. Make an intermediate stop at Coffin's Reef so we can get a third day of snorkeling in. Next slide. Then we're going to spend a late day at Hawks Key Marina. This one also has a tiki bar. Also has a pool, a beach. Interestingly enough, it has a saltwater pond, and you can see there in the foreground of that picture there, fed by the water, in addition to a nice pool and a number of resort amenities too. Next slide. Thursday, we'll depart Hawks Key and bound for Bahia Honda State Park Anchorage, and we'll have dinner aboard there. Next slide. And from Bahia Honda, we'll travel to Pelican Shoal, which is just off of the Perry Marina, and then stop there, then return to Perry Marina. Then on Saturday, January 24th, we should have enough time. We don't have to be off the boat until, I think it's 4 o'clock if I remember right, but we should have plenty of time if we want to go out for another sail. I wasn't sure about scheduling something for Saturday because I thought some people might be having, might have travel plans to leave and things like that. So, but we should have enough time to take at least one of the boats out for a short sail, maybe some more snorkeling, whatever, on Saturday. Next slide. So the cost of this trip is $1,820. Split to 2 payments, one due August 31st, another due November 30th, and the club standard 30-day cancellation policy applies. And I think that's the end of the presentation. So if anybody has any questions,
okay,
shoot me an email, send me a text, whatever.
Okay, thank you, Gary. Remember, everyone, you too can be a trip leader and you can speak at the next annual meeting.
And get 50% off the price.
That is true. That is true. Our upcoming Commodore, Jan Cornelius, will may say a few words, and we'll welcome him and wish him well for the next 2 years. So, Jan, you ready?
Ready as I'll ever be, I guess. I'm going to spare you the little story about how I came to be Commodore. But it was by acclamation. I don't think there were any votes against me. Is that correct?
That's
I was
correct.
unanimous, yes, because I was the only one who volunteered. Um, so thank you, Eleanor, for the hard work you put in the last 2 years, and hopefully we'll have a smooth transfer
We will.
of power. You know, I will lean on you going forward to find out what I don't know, which is certainly more than I know.
Okay.
Some, you know, some of the thoughts I've had is I would like to add substantially to our membership. My preliminary goal is 10%, whether that's 10% a year or 10% over the 2 years, I'm not sure yet. I'd like to say 10% a year. So I'm very interested in anybody who has ideas about how to do that. That would, you know, I welcome any suggestions. You can email me at the Commodore at the Sailing Club, Commodore at the sailingclub.com.org. Sorry. I would part of that is we are going to have a booth at the Spring Annapolis Sailboat Show.
Oh, wow.
At the end of next month, which should be a quite an opportunity for us to meet people. You know, they're all excited about the spring and getting ready to sail. So, and they'll all be looking at new boat prices. So we'll probably have, you know, quite a few people who decide maybe they'd like to go another route. So we were invited to share a booth with a few other clubs, and so hopefully that's a 3-day show, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, April 25th, 26th, 27th. And if anybody wants to volunteer to man the booth for a few hours, let us know. Let me know. We'd be happy to have you. Also, we can get, if you're just interested in going to the show, the daily tickets are $20 a day. We can get a $5 discount on the tickets. So if we let them know how many we need, you know, they'll give us those discounted tickets. So if you send an email, I'll send out an email to the membership in the next few days. But if you're interested in getting a discounted ticket, let me know, and we'll figure that out. Aside from the increase in membership, I would like to see if we can add a skipper. We have 4 right now, and sometimes the number of boats we can charter are limited by the number of skippers available to, you know, run the boats. It's a very rigorous process to become a skipper, but you know, I would encourage that. If people are interested. Another thing I would really like to do is kind of transition. Now that the website is up and running, I'd like to transition to primarily online reservations and payments. I feel like I'm back in the 2000s every time I write a check and mail it off. So I think that would help us certainly in our drive to stay current. And the final thing is you know, Eleanor mentioned becoming a trip leader. It's a little daunting the first time you do it. I did my first trip, the BVI trip in February, and it was pretty confusing. Walter has suggested that we maybe have a class for trip leaders, and if people are interested in doing that, I think that would be a good idea.
That is a good idea.
Yeah, some of our, you know, we could go through the process more than, you know, it's on the website if you follow everything, but and also I was thinking if you want, we could probably have somebody who's more experienced to act as a mentor the first time you do a trip. The other thing is we've got our cache of former trips, trip reports, and trip proposals that are on the website. That was my minor contribution, was converting all the former trip reports into PDF files. So you can look through those going back 30 plus years and, see what other people have done. And that's how I did the BVI trip, was I just essentially copied the 2016 trip the last time we went there, and then got some more tips from Gary in particular to plan that trip. So it's not as bad as you think. And as somebody pointed out, you do get a substantial discount from the trip price. So anyways, that's all I had to say.
Hey, Jen, I got something to add to that.
Sure.
Is that either the trip leader or the assistant trip leader needs to be a skipper. So if you're a relative newbie and you want to plan a trip and you get a skipper to be your assistant trip leader, you've got some experience right there.
You have much experience. You probably have, 70 or 80 years of sailing experience once you pick.
I'm not talking about, I'm not necessarily talking about me. I'm talking,
Right. I mean, all four of you.
Anywho,
Any of their skippers have been sailing since before steamships.
Dan, can I ask, is this the first time the club has had a booth at the sailing show?
It is. They.
So, I was a member of the J-Port Club for 25 years, and I discovered them at the boating club.
Really?
Yeah, they have now morphed to the Chesapeake Boating Club, so that might be one of the ones you're partnering with. But I became very friendly with the owner of the J-Port, who he then sold it to, and it became the Chesapeake Boating Club. And he always told me that new members always came, that he did really well at that event.
oh, that's really good to hear.
It'll be really interesting to see what happens.
That's good to know, Anne Marie.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah,
We were invited by Soundings, the magazine.
Oh, okay.
Get in this booth.
Soundings or
Spin
Spinchy?
Spinchy.
Spinchy.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Spinchy.
Yeah, they reached out to Eleanor and we're going. So that should be exciting.
Yeah.
So that's great. That's all I have, unless
Okay.
anybody has questions.
you.
I am happy to share my wisdom as a Commodore to be.
I just wanted to add, Jen, please be sure to use your line of "we sail other people's boats."
I will.
I like that, yeah.
I like that line, and because people that own their own boat, we have over the years had many people who own their own boat, but they like the group effort, and they're not responsible for everything, and especially when you travel someplace new and different. So, I mean, that's the beauty of our club. They could leave their boat behind and have 1/8 of the responsibility.
Good point, Marianne. Yep.
There was also a couple of years ago, Hank Jelinek made a comment. He said we should also be called the Sailing Club, also known as the Eating, Drinking, and Laughing Club. So I think that's good. Anyway, anything else, Jan, before I go on?
That's it for me.
I wanted just to throw in, I still am blown away that the boat that we chartered was only a year old.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, and the BVI, yeah. It was less than a year old.
But there's
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't get over that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they're in very nice shape, except that the damn bow thruster didn't work, and the water makers didn't work. But I think that was just because nobody knew how to run them.
Anyway,
We
great
didn't
ideas,
really need
Jan.
the
I
water.
wish you lots of luck and good wishes. Anyway,
Thank you,
before we
Bob.
go any further, I have to show you this. This
Ah.
was my
we get
Commodore
that.
gifts from the club. And can everybody see it? I just
Yeah.
love it. Can you see it up close? Okay.
That's
It's a
great.
sailboat inside of a coin. It's like the coolest thing ever. So Mia knocked it out of the park. I'm telling you, that was a great choice. Thank
It's
you
a
so
sailing
much.
club tradition that the club give the Commodore, the leaving Commodore gift, and it's typically the former Commodore before them who makes that happen. I got Eleanor's input and then picked that necklace.
Yeah.
I was talking
I
like
can't wait
one
to
of
get
those
my
trinkets you
necklace.
see on the internet. I didn't know you were going to come up with something so fabulous. All right. So if there's, are there any other items, anything anybody else needs to say, wants to know, input? Okay.
Good to see everyone.
It
Okay.
is. Okay.
Yes.
If there are none, I'm going to leave the meeting open. But for now, if there's no other business for the Sailing Club's 40, what did I say,
Whatever.
42nd year, this meeting of this official meeting of the club is adjourned. However, you may stay and socialize. The meeting will stay open
You're
as
gonna stop
long
the
as you need.
You're gonna stop the recording, I take it.
Yes, let's stop
Yeah.
the recording.
Yeah.
Okay. No more recording. Stop. Yes.